let's keep exploring. Reach checkpoint. Oh, did I not equip the sword? I had a sword. I upgraded you. Oh, it's a katana. Is that a relic? Oh no, that's the that's the basilisk. Oh, I was so confused because I was like, why is it glowing? Okay, that's cool. This one has the top heavy. Okay. Forgot that's what you do. Where'd you go? Oh.
Damn. Is it over?
Okay, don't go that way. Or this way? Listen, 12 scraps could save me. Asshole. Thank you, doggy. Am I supposed to, is it supposed to be the same one as this one? Can't activate it. Yay!
Right. Come and get some.
It's down here. Treasure. I think I put more armor just because doggy heals me. I don't think the great health matters too much. Watch me be completely wrong.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Crossbow. Wow. I can mod this out real quickly. Has everything is better than this one. They're probably the only thing it doesn't bounce, which is fine. I think that's a cool weapon to find early on. Oh. Oops, level 8. Hi, doggy.
This isn't looking good.
Nice. Okay, there is a bit I didn't explore. Down here. To the right. To the left. Behind me.
Need more ammo.
Oh, thank God. Thank you, doggy. You're the best. Okay. Uh-oh. How do This is one way. But that. Wait, here's something. Unstoppable. You know what the sad thing? I don't know if I have enough fucking okay, that genuinely surprised me. Keep healing me, doggy.
Come on.
What? A smear archer? What the fuck? Oh, you can make clones and they're not good clones. Okay, back to why is it two of them? Please stop shooting so I can focus a bit. Okay, there goes my clone. You will keep cloning me. Guys, you can. No! No! I fucking fucked it up. I was fine. I accidentally jumped. That'll be the biggest complaint I have for this game. You can, how you can accidentally jump off the ledge by mistake. I wasn't even trying to jump off. I was literally just trying to move around. And you know it's fucked up. I very much could have had that. That was not even that hard. It really wasn't. I was just trying to plant myself in the right position. I was like, oh, let me get doggy. Let me have him activate his ability. I'm so mad. My clone is still here. Oh, he's still here. Good. I can get my bench. Half my bench. Huh? They're both still here? This is why I want to do the first one.
Take that. Yeah.
Okay, I got this ring.
Here they come.
there a way to time that when you can prevent that? Okay. I read the one, right? Damage reduction. Okay. Bandit. On his ground attempts. On the return. And this weapon. Okay, that's fine, because that's a stacking. Or it's actually stack on this. Because the more I collect, the better. There's no melee one yet. What do you reduce all incoming damage by 3% for each health missing. And then there was and choose that one. And I think this is the whole map. Yeah. Alright, we'll go back. So it turns out in the Forgotten Forest fields, I'm sorry, I actually did miss a section in here too. So let's explore it. Ooh.
Damn it!
We don't talk about the miss shot, because that wasn't a miss shot, that was a trick shot. No. Oh, those are symbols. I'm going to need to record them. And now it does. Okay. Okay. My question is, I'm on it. Where does this bring me? Empire. Weapon spread. Slayer crest. Oh. Lame. Now that was a trick shot.
All right, let's do this.
Here.
Here we go.
Come on. Weapons what? How fast do you want to swap weapons? There must be a legit strat to it. Wow, that son of a bitch. Where are you? You deserve that. this way. I heard them at the last second. Get away from the deer. That is a boss arena. Switch over to the crossbow. I don't know what I'm in for. Hidden passageways. Run under. This boss is definitely mobilable.
Blade and spear, shield and stone. To arms! They come! They come! They come! The rot! They... Oh, a Paxel tech. A terrible wonder, even for one who has seen many wonders. If its kind walk Yesha foreigner, then surely the wheel of the world is set to turn again. Perhaps it will grind me at last. The vile taste of sap is
Dog is
ever on my
agitated.
tongue. I've earned my bitter breath, God murderer. Know it nothing of the hoofless who have voyaged before it? Is it innocent of the lifeblood that stains its hairless hands? Curious. A curious race, Paxel Tekar, to be sure. How came I to this wretched state? Its eyes reached the question. Before its tongue left home or hearth, the tumbling ruin beneath its tender pads was once a fortification, an encircling bulwark to the greatest conurbation ever brought forth on Yesha's soil. Such faith we put in its solidity. Merchant and marshal, peasant and prince, their souls kneeled at the altar of within and without. But a wall is a false god, built to crumble. The only thing a wall ever truly divides is a fool from his wisdom. The rifts open swiftly. They split the bulwark stone as a hot needle kisses the onion skin of a boil, and the pus poured through on tangled wooden limbs. Yes, the final calamity. Their numbers endless. They rushed upon us like a river in flood. The end began. Teeming with life. The sun has never shone on a city greater, ruined, so that I might not even visit it in dreams, charnel by the root. Yes, the final calamity. Their numbers endless. They rushed upon us like a river in flood. The end began.
Hello.
For 40 days, we
40
fought
days is a
them
long
on
time.
these steps. The soldiers fell first, then the officers, then they called upon the priests. We knew the children would be next. And so, we flung our very bodies into the breach. Some were torn apart like green shoots in a glutton's teeth. Others were swallowed whole and vanished from the sphere. I stuck, anguished cork in a malign bottle. It seethes around me. It waits to disgorge its grotesqueries once more upon Yesha's scalded skin. Please, Paxotek, wanderer, it who would do right, put its edge to this cursed snarl. We Lemir are no strangers to the last voyage. Destroy the knot.
Oh god! I triggered a fight or something. I'm sorry. I don't think that worked. Oh, there's something come out of you. He's doing something. It wasn't found out. We need to work on how many of y'all are here. Okay, wrong weapon to have. Crossbow is a good idea for a single boss. But the we're not the big file. There's a big guy with that axe. Shit. Oh no, okay. I'm gonna correct you.
Gonna feel that later.
Good boy. I need to get off this way. I sense the archer somewhere. I sense you. I can't see you, but I can sense you.
Can't carry anymore.
Does that pause the game? No, it doesn't. I'm fucking dead.
Come on.
Okay.
Is that all you got?
Oof. I think that's, okay, that's my sword. I was like, is that an arrow on my back?
Not enough room.
How you live?
Am I? Is this real? Or has insensate madness claimed me? Paxeltag. I have not tasted air unmixed with the foul humors of the tango in an age's age, nor dared I dream that I ever might again, much less feel the soft touch of good soil beneath my hooves, or the kiss of the wind on my free fur. Faithless, faithless have I been, and yet Paxeltag came, with war in its right hand and temperance in its left. The Paxeltag came, and I am saved. Two-handed warrior. It has my allegiance, whatever may come. Paxeltag have a gift for death, this much is true, but they are not all destroyers. Perhaps if it fights with us, perhaps the root may yet be crushed under the wheel of time. Take this, though it be a relic of Welamer, stewards of death. Wield it in defense of life. I think I shall linger here a while yet. Many are those who fell on these blood-soaked steps. And no, some are now naught but bones. They each deserve the funerary rites of royalty. These I shall endeavor to complete with whatever time is left to me. If its road should ever wind this way again, grace me with a visit. There are yet tales of Yesha, I might tell it, if it cares to hear them shared. On the contrary, it
Why
has
not?
been
Share your tale.
ages since I felt so very much alive. Let us first be properly introduced. Once I was called Lich, foremost of the Lamir. High priest of the dead. Oh, I gloried in that title. Would that I had known the irony. A funerary priest of the deathless, the Highborn. One who
Is that related to a dragon?
powerful in glory, and a Muslim who seals the secrets of the eternal empress with sweet seed oil and with night sap. We guarded the flesh of the great and sought their resurrection among these trusted sacred pan. I was the utmost. I relished the favor of her permanence. More fool I. For many epochs, the Highborn did not fear the flow of time, for the fruit of the Thane tree kept it at bay. But There are other ways to die. Misadventure. The Eternal Empress dreamed of defeating this final terminus. If life could be taken, could it not be given back? The flesh was preserved against that question's answer. This was the province of the Lemir. But let us start at the beginning. Much would I have it know. And to know all, it must know what is first. Would it hear the history of the Pan? In
Yes.
the time before time, the Pan lived in the place that was. It is said that there came a great plague that ravaged the land so that the fields were seeded only with the bones of the dead and yielded only the cries of the bereft. With his flock drowning in woe, the leader of the Pan held forth a great decree. 100 ships were built to hold 10,000 souls, with their god of many faces cutting the waves before them. The Pan that were ventured across the Vilkmarja, the dark sea, through the long night. The vaunts prayed and the red widows wept, for no one knew if the dark sea had a far shore. 100 days lit the 100 ships, and 100 knights drew their swaddling across them too. But on the 101st day, as the Red Widow in the foremost ship bowed her horns to the god of many faces, a bird lit between them, singing, "Glory to the Pan, for they have reached."
I thought we were going to go with the difference on there for a second.
Yesha rose like the dawn before them, unseen, untamed, and free. The king who was, him known to the Pan as Kolket the War-Handed, later Kolket the Woe-Begone, and at last as Kolket the Wise. Quick of blade was he in his youth, a fearsome general who watered the tree of progress with the lifeblood of many enemies. But the exploits of youth brought Kolket no peace in age. They say he took the plague as fate's judgment against his warlike eye. Fate offered a choice: flee the land of his fathers, or end his line as the king of death. Kolket hesitated no more in pilgrimage than he had in war. He raised up ships as once he had raised regiments. He sailed from the place that was with a heart full of hope. He was never to see Asia's shores. He passed
Damn.
in peace before the crossing's end, greeting death with grace. The god of many faces had been with the Pan since the place that was. Longer. None speak of a time before its guardianship. It was a god as real as the soil beneath us. A god one could visit, a god one could touch. Its ways were not known, but all agreed it loved us and ever would. More would I have it here of this, for this tendril twines with its own. But patience, two-handed one, each thing in time.
Do we have time though?
In those days, there was no empress. There were no queens. Kolket the Wise passed on the dark sea and left no heir. It was only agreed that the clergy should step in where Kolket had stood. The Vaughn's spoke for the many-faced one, and the Red Widows spoke for the sun, stone, sky, and stream. It had been ever thus. Now, they linked hands to cradle the destiny of the Pan. For 80 days, the Vaughns fell prostrate upon Yesha's unfamiliar shore. They prayed for a sign that our searching was over, and that this forest should be ours. On the 80th day, 2 forms emerged from the depths of the jungle. First came a doe with coat of red. Where it walked, the soil gave forth flowers and sweet berries, and they took it as a sign of grace. But behind the doe came another, a wolf with fur as lightless as the obsidian waves the Pan had so lately crossed. Surely, this great beast was a portent of death. Yet, desperate were these threadbare priests of old, and of these visions to their charges, these Vaughns spoke only one. And why not? The doe fills all who glimpse it with a spirit of hope and a sense of growth. It leaps among the shrub and bramble even now, even with Yesha sundered by the root. There are those who think it more than a spirit, a god in waiting. These call themselves the children of the Red Doe. Those who glimpse the doe often glimpse the wolf, for the latter seems compelled to pursue the former. To hear those early Vaughns tell it would be to hear of many different wolves in pursuit, and only one doe. A simple deception,
sounds
but
like
a
good plan.
far-reaching one. Modern Pan know the truth. What must it be to spend an eternity chasing that which one might catch but may not kill? For the wolf and the doe have often met, antler and tooth, hoof and claw. The doe may spill the wolf's blood, and the wolf may taste the doe's flesh, but never the other's life to take. Yesha itself forbids it. They say the chase has driven the wolf quite mad. With the assurance of the Vaughns, the Pan took to Yesha and she to us. And for a time, there was stillness. Men were born who had never known the land that was, nor the endless sea at their backs. One such was called Genus. She was but 15 springs when she felt the calling of the Red Widows, and not 3 more when she felt the touch of sickness. As Genus approached the door of death, she sought her sisters, for there were no Lamer yet, and it was the Red Widows who ushered the Pan into the soil. But Genus's malady was known to the Widow Mother, to her, to the Elder Pan. It seemed the plague had found them again, even on this distant shore. Genus was shunned, cast out into the jungle, and her name was forbidden from Pan lips. None among them could have foreseen. Plague-ridden and scorned, the Red Widow Genus had been cast into the jungle to be forgotten. But fate had other plans. After many days in the jungle, Genus emerged. The Pan were humbled, for all signs of plague had been lifted from the young Genus, replaced by a regal gait none could deny. Fascinated, all assembled to hear her tale. And quite a tale it was. Genus spoke of a vision that had come upon her. as she lay in the moss, gasping out her last. In her vision, the plagues had returned. Pan, young and old, wailed and keened and spat their last blood on Yesha's pristine sand. But then, when all seemed lost, a great tree rose out of the jungle, strange and wonderful, and heavy with luminous fruit. This tree, the Thane, she named it, gave all who ate of it a life unending. The Pan embraced it, and their glory stretched on. For 1,000 epochs, Genus rose to power on this. The spire built of wood by spreading her message of doom and salvation. The Red Widows were easy converts, inclined to believe their sister, and eager to spread her vision to all the Pan. In time, they held more sway than even the Vaughns. It was a great shift. It would not be the last. Among the Red Widows, Genus was quickly elevated to Widow Mother. The crops flourished, and the villages spread. The jungle receded from the shore. It is difficult to say. Genus has had charge of her own legend for an age of ages. Suffice to say, there is enough truth to her vision for me to know her personally, though I was born some 30 mothers hence, and yet, in knowing her, I find its question impossible to answer. But we get ahead of ourselves, two-handed one. Many seasons passed, and Genus grew stooped and lined as all Pan before her had. In her 77th winter,
I forget, how long do they get to
Genus
live?
had another vision. The Thane called to her, and she told her people it was time to seek it out. For the calamity was imminent. 500 Pan were assembled to undertake the expedition. Genus herself, a contingent of Red Widows, a party from each of the villages. Many imagined they would never see their queen again. Those that lived long enough came to know the taste of those words. When Genus, now as young and beautiful as the day she first beat death, emerged from the jungle once more, with 49 immortals at her back, she had been reborn a second time.
Hold on, there's a lot to
As
this.
an empress eternal. For
I didn't realize they
years,
put all the lore to
searched
one
the
guy.
forest, battling hunger, storms, and beasts red of tooth and claw. 20 winters passed. Many succumbed to death or to doubt by the 21st spring. Only 5 Red Widows and 44 common Pan stood at Genus's side. It was they whom she led into the clearing. It was they who beheld the Thane. It was they who tasted the fruit and felt time's weight fall from their shoulders. No plague has touched the Pan since, but calamity wears faces nearly as numerous as our god of old. Unless I am much mistaken, the Empress lives yet, for no funerary smoke has filled the sky above her ziggurat. If the Pan vanish from Yesha's soil, I imagine she will be the last to depart. With death thus leashed, the eternal Genus and her immortals brought forth an empire heretofore unknown. Great ziggurats were hewn from the living rock, and at their feet grew great cities lit by arcane magics. Genus's prophecies all came about, save one. If only the Pan of that epoch had wandered as it does, Two-Handed One. What of the great calamity? But none worried. Save a few vaults. The old ways were dying, and the Empress was not. No achievement seemed beyond the reach of the Pan. It was then that the wolf came. Ah, but the story of Yesha is the story of who tastes the fruit of the Thane tree. 49 immortals begat many more. A deathless aristocracy. They traded favor with the Empress, traded years of life itself like fishmongers at market. They called it the Ravager. The very obsidian beast the vaunts of old had glimpsed and hidden. It sprang from the jungle as sudden as a squall. It made no more than mutton of the bravest warrior. Fear fell like night across the empire. Death roamed Yesha. Ravenous death none could tame. There were those who would have seen the beast slain, but the Ravager was never much glimpsed that the Red Doe should not follow, and vice versa. The green things of the jungle sprang from the Red Doe's feet. But on what do green things grow, if not the flesh of departed life? Who knew what would become of the Doe if the Ravager were felled? Who knew what would become of the jungle? Who knew what would become of the Thane tree? It was the twice humbled Vaughnts who kept the Empire from vanishing down the Ravager's throat. For the Vaughnts had pondered the beast since it first appeared to them on Yesha's shores. It was they who had learned to listen to Aethir's song. They who learned to appease the Ravager with tribute, with dance, and with music. Balance returned. And the song of all living things. It permeates our forest. It whispers in the leaves, thrums in the soil, shines in the sun, babbles in the stream. The Vaughnts devote themselves to the song's mystery. They play it to tap its power, as other Pan might use the energy of a crystal, or the heat of a flame. Those attuned in prayer hear it strongest. But all may catch its strain from time to time, even a Paxeltech. Who is to say? For that was hardly the last calamity to befall the Pan at Yesha. With the Ravager appeased, the Empress dreamed of rule eternal. She should likely have had her wish. But for one thing, the Thane tree, that of the fruit of immortality, began to die. For many lifetimes her permanence hid this knowledge from all who served her, slave and immortal alike. And why not? She had amassed a great store of fruit, and surely something could be done to save the tree. Why crack the very bedrock of her society? But the tree's decline could not be arrested. Fruit was rationed. Noble lineages withered. We lay there, once prepared for the final death of death. Only those immortals who had fallen in battle or by misadventure. Now, we found ourselves winding wizened nobles in sap and muslin by the hundreds. Perhaps what came next was inevitable.
What was it?
Rebellion, insurrection,
Makes
revolt.
sense.
This was the fire that was to sweep through Yesha's jungle. For a life of lifetimes, the eternal Empress had hidden the decline of the Thane tree. But like the Vaughnts of old, had underestimated the power of one young, plague-addled Red Widow. Genus herself failed to foresee the power of one called Navun. Navoon was one of her eternity's own guards. How she learned of the rot at the roots of the Thane tree, I cannot say. I know only that she had no taste for the Empress's deceptions. Navoon fled the ziggurat and spread the news far and wide. Her words found home in the ears of the gull. Yesha's slave caste. No slaves could hope to challenge the power of an immortal aristocracy. But what about a nobility in disarray? One where the great and powerful would soon fight for scraps of fruit like bare-ribbed dogs. They rose, first singly, then in a tidal wave. The Empress found herself at war. Perhaps she might have won, if not for the Destroyer.
Damn, there's a lot of things that are going on in this damn
Ever was
civilization.
Gina served by the Red Widows. She was still Widow Mother. Is still, if such a thing has any meaning now. Some among the widow's ranks forswore tenderness and became instead her permanence's highest guard. Genus herself had been the lowest widow in her order, and she had turned Pan society inside out. How fitting, then, that the last and least of her own widow guard should become her greatest adversary. It bridled when I called it God Murderer. Surprised I am that it should know so little of the deep track its kind have trekked across our soil. Let us walk those prints now, that it should be enlightened. It has heard of Yeshat civil war, of slave with blade of hoe to neck of noble, and noble with point of sword to belly of slave. Into that tempest walked one of its kind, Paxotech. I cannot say why, though perhaps it might someday tell me from whence. Whatever its motive. Hither came the Destroyer, even as the Pan turned their ravenous gaze toward the fruit of immortality. Our god of many faces remained satisfied with the scant worship of the vaunts and the commoners. It was an ever-present comfort. A guardian we scarcely thought of. The Destroyer, Paxotech, oh yes, its kind, drove its blade into the pure heart of our guardian. We knew not that it was the god of many faces who kept the root from this world. But in death, many faces' absence was soon felt. In her world already torn by war, where caste let blood of caste, there came reports of some new woe. Travelers spoke of twisted horrors on the road, but we who relished in the weight of this wall only scoffed. Who knew that the very air could rip, that the world itself could tear and spill like a wine-skin under hoof. Oh, how we fought, priest and prince and pauper, side by side, our world's lifeblood drizzling through our fingers as we clutched at the hanging tatters of Yesha's slit throat. Most perished. And I became enmeshed. I thought our tale told, our race run. And yet, among the Pan, there is a saying. Why just ask the Rin? I gave the impression, perhaps, that Yesha was uninhabited at the arrival of the Pan, save for the doe, the wolf, the birds, and the beasts. This is not so. the Rin slink Yesha's canopy on leathery wings. Perhaps they once thought to defend their forest. But Lash and Lure put that to rest. Lash in that no Rin could hope to withstand the onslaught of energy we Pan have learned to draw from Yesha's native crystal. The Flying Ones have no talent for crystal craft. Lure in that under normal circumstances, Rin eggs reach maturity only with great difficulty. I know not who first discovered the potential for symbiosis between our species. Only that it is a whimsical god indeed who sends the most precious resource one kind could hope to acquire out the hind end of the other. As sure as there is iron in the soil of Yesha, there is irony. It was a pad-footed Paxeltech who slew our guardian and brought the root. Would it be so strange to see a Paxeltech drive them from our shores? Perhaps as with Genus and the Voon. The strangeness is the point. It has done me a service unpayable. No reward can suffice. But perhaps, if it cannot be rewarded, it can be equipped. Colket brought war, then wisdom. Its forebears brought the root, but its wisdom stayed the flames, that I might live beyond the hated knot. Take this now, as a token of my gratitude.
I got an amulet for
The
listening.
Pan must put their faith in action and belief, not weapons and walls. I forever owe it thanks, as shall the many souls scattered on these steps. To them I must tend. Be well, two-handed warrior. Be strange fate's agent.
Cool. I got a reward for listening. Don't me.